Why studying in UK is so important? This is a key question that basically is the topic of our today discussion in this heart-to-heart podcast. For our Pakistani parents and Pakistani students, can you please highlight some of the unique selling points or unique features of studying in UK, sir?
UK higher education is still one of the best education systems in the world, some of the best researchers in the world, and it has some of the best courses in the world.
Would you please highlight some of your academic career journey that you had here in UK and your own experience as a student here in UK?
Our fathers came over to work in the textile mills. Some of our fathers set up businesses, and that became the foundation for many students to grow into the professions here.
Where would you choose your son to be, in US, Canada, or UK?
There's a lot of opportunity in the UK. We have a strong Muslim population in the UK. There's the chance to discuss and grow and talk to so many different people of faith. And we found the remains of King Richard here in the Leicester car park. We also do work with NASA, so Leicester is the home of the space park.
Why should a student or an early career researcher, having a similar choice to pursue his or her education back in Pakistan, come to UK or, so to speak, University of Leicester? What is the cutting advantage?
And we do some amazing research here, whether it's in AI, whether it's in space, whether it's in economics, whether it's in medicine.
What kind of scholarships, discounts, and fee bursaries that you offer to students ranging from undergrad to postgrad and PhD?
So those options are available. We do offer graduate teaching assistantships.
A parting message for the viewers, particularly the youth in Pakistan, a kind of a motivational or an inspirational message before we really park our discussion. I can understand.
You can attest to that.
How grilling it was.
Yeah.
And I only expected 10% of success because it was so hard. I thought I'm gone.
But no, you mashallah did really, really well. I was very impressed. And
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to my podcast Heart to Heart. This afternoon, I have invited one of the distinguished professors, an academic, an accomplished researcher here at University of Leicester Business School, Dr. Abdur Jabbar, who is British-born Pakistani and hails from Azad, Kashmir, Pakistan. His father basically migrated here 50 years back, and he was born, raised, and educated here in UK. So studying in UK continues to be one of the hot topics and also one of the key decisions when it comes to career counseling, when it comes to choosing overseas or transnational education. Thousands of Pakistanis every year choose international destinations for their higher education. Why studying in UK is so important? This is a key question that basically is the topic of our today discussion in this heart-to-heart podcast. And on your behalf, I welcome Professor Dr. Abdur Jabbar on this podcast. So welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Asad. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me. It's a real honor. The podcast is something I've always wanted to do, so thank you so much.
So, for our Pakistani parents and Pakistani students, can you please highlight some of the unique selling points or unique features of studying in UK, sir?
Great question, Asad. Great question. So, UK higher education is still one of the best education systems in the world. It's still very, very highly ranked, still provides a lot of value, and the UK higher education still provides students with the critical thinking skills, but also with the applied skills that they need to function in today's modern world. And as the world becomes more and more complex, and as we start to navigate and transcend through some of these more complex matters, UK higher education is still very well placed to support our students and give them the understanding and the skills to really function as a valued member of society. As many of your viewers are probably already aware, the UK has some of the best universities in the world. It still has some of the best researchers in the world, and it has some of the best courses in the world. We've got such a strong history of education in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, of course, everybody knows Harvard and Purdue in US, and Cambridge and Oxford here in UK, always competing for the top world ranking top positions.
It's true, and now we've got London School of Economics also at the top position, so they're also doing very, very well. So the UK as a provider of education is still by far, in my view, I'm not being biased, but one of the best places to study for.
Would you please highlight some of your academic career journey that you had here in UK and your own experience as a student here in UK?
Yes. Good question. I don't really like talking about myself too much, but I was born and bred in a small town in the north of England called Huddersfield. Being a young kid growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was a difficult time for many Pakistanis. Our fathers came over to work in the textile mills. Some of our fathers set up businesses, and that became the foundation for many students to grow into the professions here. And there was a lot of opportunity back in the late 90s, in the early 2000s. A lot of my friends went on to become dentists, doctors, lawyers, highly respected professionals in their field.
I was wondering if your son had offers from a university in US, a university in Canada, and a couple of offers from 2 to 3 quality universities in the UK. Where would you choose your son to be, in US, Canada, or UK?
Great question, Asad, and thank you for that. I think based upon my own experience and my lived experience, for me, I would always advise my son to come to the UK, primarily because there's a really strong educational background, but also the amount of diversity in the UK. There's a lot of opportunity in the UK. We have a strong Muslim population in the UK. There's the chance to discuss and grow and talk to so many different people of faith, and it's a good quality of life in this country. And there's plenty of opportunity to grow as individuals. And if the university came along and my son had the offer, I would always say, come to the UK and study.
And so also does that large number of Pakistani diaspora here, living in the UK, does that really help a Pakistani student traveling and coming to an overseas location like UK?
See, I think that's one of the advantages that we have in the UK. We have a large diaspora in the UK, and I think some of our students really embed themselves and engage, and that gives them a support structure away from home in some respects. We've got strong communities in the UK that are there to support some of our international students with work, with support, with whatever help that they need. And the other advantage, obviously, is a lot of our family members already in the UK, and that makes a big difference as well. So we get a lot of Pakistan, a lot of students from Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh who've already got family communication, and that really helps to lower the cost in some respects, and really helps them to embed and to get used to UK life. Makes a big difference.
Brilliant. Now let's come back to Leicester, where we are now, the University of Leicester. Where do you place University of Leicester as one of the destinations for Pakistani students, and why?
Yeah. Again, Asad, some good questions today. Leicester is obviously where we are right now. And Leicester is one of the top 30 universities in the UK. It's got a very strong research reputation, and I think not many people know about Leicester, but they don't realize the impact that Leicester's had on the world. DNA fingerprinting, anywhere that you go, anytime, any place in the world, if the DNA fingerprinting, that was from Leicester. Leicester has one of the top medical schools in the country, and Leicester also is a top 200 university in the world according to the Times Higher. So Leicester has a strong research background. It has a strong research history, and it is somewhere that you can be proud of being an alumni from. And we've also got a very strong museum studies. We found the remains of King Richard here in the Leicester car park. We also do work with NASA. So Leicester is the home of the space park.
Oh yeah,
one of the biggest
massive space park UK. Yeah,
huge facility focused purely on the investigation of space, so looking beyond our borders, and that's what we try and do here at Leicester. We want to create citizens of the future, and we want to change realities, and we've done that with our research, and we've done that with the work that we've done. And a lot of our business, a lot of the students who come to the business school have gone on to do great things out there.
And we was one of one key point when I was choosing Leicester was the ethnic diversity. And there was a tagline about the city of Leicester that you tend to fall in love with Leicester. It is such a nicely blended homogeneous, though different ethnicities live here, but it's celebrating the ethnic diversity.
Again, I think, before I forget, it's important to mention, that Leicester is one of the most diverse cities in the country.
Oh, yeah.
We've got so many different backgrounds, races, so many different opinions, and it's a pure melting pot of, there's so much different things happening all the time, and it's a great place to eat, it's a great place to live. There's so much stuff happening. You live here.
I'm enjoying my time for the last 2 years. It's phenomenal.
There's so many. Every day there's something different.
Such a welcoming environment. Such a welcoming environment.
Quickly forgot to mention, Leicester was also voted the Daily Mail University of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
And also it's been shortlisted as the Times University of the Year. So Leicester is a place where some things are really happening at the moment. It's a very, very up and coming, agile and dynamic institution.
So knowing the fact that you are Dean on Internationalization here at University of Leicester Business School, what kind of scholarships, discounts and fee bursaries that you offer to students ranging from undergrad to postgrad and PhD?
Well, we provide a range of support for our students that come from all parts of the world, and we are looking for the brightest and the best, as as your good self.
Honored.
And you came on a GTA, which is a graduate teaching assistant role, which means that Asad gets to work on his PhD while he also teaches with us. So those options are available. We do offer graduate teaching assistantships. They come about once a year. They're available once a year, and they are very, very competitive. We get hundreds and hundreds of applications for them. But in those scenarios, we're looking for the biggest and the brightest and the best students. We also provide scholarships based upon a range of factors. So again, we're looking for the best students. The high achieving students will always get a higher level of scholarship. So it varies between a couple of £1,000 to more than a couple of £1,000.
Right. So my next question is about a fully funded 4 years PhD scholarship. Of course, there are many young lecturers, early year academics, having done their research degrees, so MPhil or Masters, looking to have their PhD here in UK. Can you please explain that 4 years fully funded PhD?
Yes, no problem. So the GTA, we also call it the Graduate Teaching Assistant PhD pathway. And it's specifically designed for the brightest and the best, a little bit like yourself. And we are looking for the best students to come and do research with us. And with the GTA, we provide full tuition fees and we provide a stipend for those students. It's a very, very competitive process. We have hundreds of applications every year, but this is an opportunity that we give to our students. So if you do have an amazing idea, and if you do have something that you're passionate about, especially when it comes to your research, then these are the type of applications that we welcome. So the GTA opens once a year, and normally it's around Easter time. So if you are interested, do visit our websites around April, May time, and that's when hopefully any details about research funding should be available.
Now, explaining your competitiveness that a fully funded PhD student is expected, whom do you really reject? Who gets rejected in this process? Some bad applications. What makes a bad application?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. And it's a tough question because there's so many factors that make up what we look for in a PhD student. And I think you can attest, Asad, we're looking for students with resilience.
PhD is a tough business.
It's a tough business. You have to be very, very resilient.
It's a marathon. It's not 100 meters.
Exactly, and you have to love what you do.
Yeah.
And there'll be long nights where nobody else will understand your work, but you have to love it. So so when it comes to individuals who don't really understand their PhD or don't really have a love for the PhD, that comes out in the interview process. And as you know, Asad, the interview process can be extremely rigorous.
I can understand.
You can attest to that.
How grilling it was.
Yeah. And
I only expected 10% of success because it was so hard. I thought I'm gone.
But no, you did really, really well. I was very impressed, and so was your co-supervisor. We were very impressed with the work that you do and with the work that you did. But you pushed back. So what we don't want is when in my view, a student who just accepts what the proven wisdom is at that time. What students who can push back against what we're saying, and sometimes we may be leading you up a garden path, and you did very well against pushing back against considered norms, and that's what we're looking for. Students who have a passion for their work, students who understand, have a strong idea, and students who are very, very resilient, students who can really push the boundaries of research.
So it's not only viewers, it's not only your knowledge and skills, it is about your attitude, your resilience, your positive outlook towards things, and the way you hold your ground and you stand up and deliver. That's probably what you're trying to say.
Exactly. Attitude is so key.
Yeah.
We're looking for positivity. We're looking for people who can find the light in the dark, who can find that needle in the haystack, people who aren't put off because maybe they've had criticism that they're not really happy with. We want people who really push the boundaries, who really within themselves have the strength to continue, and that takes a lot of resilience, that takes a lot of effort. And we're looking for good ideas, but we're looking for people that we can work with, and we're looking for people that we can develop strong research with.
So why should students, even though it's funded, fully funded 4 years PhD, why should a student or a researcher from Pakistan choose Leicester University or Business School, University of Leicester, for his or her PhD? What sets our research degree apart from other universities in the UK?
A lot of the times, it's not about the research degree, it's about your supervisors.
Okay.
So we have supervisors that sit on some of the top journal boards in the world. If you look at the ABS list, which is the Association of Business Schools list, for our viewers there, our researchers, they are the editors of some of the best marketing journals in the world, editors of some of the best economics journals in the world. We have academics that work with Harvard professors that have retired. We've got such a depth of some really amazing academics in the business school, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
In any PhD, you want a strong supervisor. You want a supervisor that's going to test you, supervisor who's going to guide you, supervisor who's going to push you in the right direction. And it's too easy to go to a university where you feel that maybe you can just coast along in the background and not really take yourself out of the comfort zone. And that's what Leicester does really well, pushes students out of their comfort zone. It does the student conferences. It makes you submit your papers. It sends you on conferences. It makes you go to events. It makes you network, get out your comfort zone, talk about your research, and really build value into your network. That's what Leicester, I think, does well.
What is the starting point for a PhD student? What should a PhD researcher be starting with just to approach University of Leicester or Business School? What is the starting point for an applicant?
I think you need to have a strong idea. I think first of all, have a strong idea about what it is you want to study, and then you need to find somebody whose research
aligns with
you.
Research area.
So have a strong idea, then go to our website, go through all the different applications, go through all the different staff members, and see who aligns with your research. That becomes your first point of call. You then start discussions, see if that supervisor is interested in working with you, and then that becomes the basis of the development of your PhD.
So we are heading towards the last leg of our discussion. How about the health and safety of a student leaving their parents behind and home and country behind in Pakistan and joining a new place, a city like Leicester and University of Leicester? How do you really assure parents that your child, son or daughter, is in safe hands?
Again, good question, and I think this is something we can both relate to. Asad, you drop your daughter off at Warwick, and I drop my daughter off at Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
And when you leave your children there, you leave your heart there. You
very difficult decision.
Very difficult decision, and you do all your research.
Yeah.
And I remember when I left my daughter to study, and she works at Rolls Royce now. It was all about me being. We were very worried about where she's gonna stay, how she's gonna cook, how she's gonna eat, and that's the beauty of a city like Leicester. It's got such a strong sense of community here, and it is a very, very safe city. If you look at some of the statistics, Leicester is quite a safe city. We have a strong police presence in the city. We've got a really strong presence in the university. We have got a lot of support for students who will be having problems with their financial or any types of issues. There's a lot of support available from the university, helping students graduate, not just graduate, but helping students engage with life in the UK. It's so important for us. And UK is quite a safe city, and it's a very, very nice place to live. And you won't have many issues here. And you can rest assured that they're in safe hands here at the University of Leicester.
what my viewers are interested in knowing, I'm certainly asking a question on their behalf. Why should a student or an early career researcher, having a similar choice to pursue his or her education back in Pakistan, come to UK or, so to speak, University of Leicester? What is the cutting advantage of earning a degree from an international study center like University of Leicester vis-a-vis a degree from Pakistan?
I think the amount of recognition that you'll get, I think, and as I mentioned earlier, Leicester is one of the top 200 universities in the world. It is a real powerhouse of research, and we do some amazing research here, whether it's in AI, whether it's in space, whether it's in economics, whether it's in medicine. And a degree from Leicester, it does hold, and it's quite a strong degree. It's from a reputable institution. It's from a very old institution. It's been around since well over 100 years, and so it really adds value not just to your career and to your CV, but also the networks that you'll build here. You'll build a strong network of individuals. You'll build a strong network of alumni, with staff. And that's the kind of support that you want. That's the kind of help that you need to develop your career long term. So that's really what we can offer.
And so the very last question is for the academics listening to us and the senior management of Pakistani educational institutions, higher educational institutions like universities. Do you also, as Dean of Internationalization, look for some long-term strategic partnerships with your counterparts in Pakistan?
Well, Pakistan is a country that's very close to my heart. My grandfather, my father, they hail from there. So we're always looking to develop, not just with Pakistan, but with all parts of the world. But we're looking for quality partners. Okay. We're looking for universities that want to work with us, universities whose plans and vision and mission aligns with ours. And I would say to academics and I would say to pro-vice chancellors that if you are interested in working with the University of Leicester, get in touch. Let's have a conversation. Let's have some tea and let's have some discussion. Nothing bad ever came over a cup of tea, as they say. So let's have a discussion and let's talk about what we can do and how we can support each other, both in the UK and in Pakistan.
A parting message for the viewers, particularly the youth in Pakistan, a kind of a motivational or an inspirational message before we really park our discussion.
Oh, put me on the spot there.
You look in the camera and address the students.
I think the youth of Pakistan need to really identify their value. Pakistan has some amazing talent, and I think sometimes we underestimate our talents. And don't ever lose hope in your talent, and keep developing yourself. Keep moving forward. You will have setbacks, but that doesn't mean that you stop. You keep pushing, you keep going forward, and bring out your latent talent and really create something great for yourself.
Just picking the message and finishing on a quote, they say, not failure, but low aim is a crime. So you need to think big, dream big, and Leicester, University of Leicester Business School may be the place that you're looking forward to join, the place to be for your higher education and diversified and distinguished career awaiting you ahead. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Asad.